Well, hello, and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host, Tracy.
Hey y'all.
It's funny how, like, after the long day, we're both in hats right now. Why are you wearing a hat?
I'm wearing a hat because I was feeling black and proud. So I have my Rhode Island Black Film Festival cap because that's going to be coming up again soon. And I was able to attend Funda Fest, which I've been talking about nonstop ad nauseum
Mhm.
for like 8 straight days.
Well, that's because it's like, how many days was it? You said it was 8 days
It
straight?
started on Friday the 17th and went to the 26th. So it was like 9 days. It
Mhm.
ended today.
Well, I'm wearing a hat because my gray was just graying
Well,
hard.
I saw you earlier and it looked really cute.
No, just no.
It
I,
because the
I,
way it grows in, it like grew in such like just a perfect little pattern. It was like in the part of your hair. I meant to tell you I liked
Mhm.
it earlier.
To me, when I see that, when I see it like in the part of my hair, it makes, when I look at it, it looks like it's a huge bald spot.
Not at all.
It looks like a huge bald spot to me.
And
So,
then with the glasses, like it just gives you this like very uptown
mhm.
girl look to me. I
Well,
like
I,
it.
I appreciate it. Thank you for being
I
very
respect
kind
why
with
Greg
that
grew in
criticism.
like that.
What, like on the edges? I don't.
Yeah, like in a nice area, just like in the part of the hair. Mine is like one strand here, one strand there. It's like, what are you doing? Can y'all come together? Can't
Man,
we
you
all
said
just
one
get
strand,
along?
one strand, one strand. I have like a cluster,
It
and it's
looks good.
basically this side. No, okay, thank you, but no, I'm thinking like
It makes you
dyeing it
actually
would
look
be.
wealthy and affluent. Not that you could that you weren't already wealthy and affluent, but it gives you look moneyed.
I wish I could still go with that, but I can't. Can't. Not doing it.
Whatever floats your boat.
Not doing it. I don't know what I'm gonna do because I usually go between henna and dyeing it. And henna is so much better for your hair. And I do
Mm,
like the natural henna, not like when they have the boxes when it's like the black henna. So if
yeah.
I want to do black, then I have to do the henna first and then I have to do indigo. So it's a two-step process and it's an all-day process, which is not a big deal, but sometimes you just don't want to do all of that. I
I leave
just
it to the professionals. I
yeah.
barely touch my own hair at home.
Hmm. And yeah, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna what I'm gonna do this week, but definitely the gray hair has to go.
But also says the woman who during the pandemic cut all her hair off and bleached it within an inch of its life to the point where people were calling me Storm. So
I don't remember you being that. You know what? I do have like when we went to that Van Gogh, was it that Van Gogh immersion?
oh yeah.
Your hair was short then. That was how
Yeah.
long ago was that? That was a
The
while ago.
pandemic, like it was 2000. I definitely had it cut really short because I couldn't go
It
to the
couldn't have been the
salon.
pandemic because we were out and there was a
So
lot of we didn't have masks on, did
so
we?
probably carried over into 2021. So when I cut my hair was 2020 because I couldn't go to the salon anymore. So I was used to having like either a sew-in or getting braids or something, and I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't get a pedicure, manicure, nothing, couldn't get my hair done. And I was just like, what am I supposed to be doing with my hair? Like I was just like, yeah, we about to cut this off. So I went to the barber shop with the mask
I
on.
remember you doing the barber shop.
I went to Tremaine, and Tremaine,
Mhm.
I think did I go to Tremaine or did I go to somebody else? I think I went to this other guy, and I was expecting him to do like this amazing cut on me
Mhm.
because he was doing it wasn't Tremaine, it was this other guy in Boston. And I was expecting him to do this amazing cut because he like goes all around the country doing all these designs and blah 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 in people's hair, mostly guys. So I
Can't
put
see it, but let's see. Can you
Oh yeah, I
can
can see it. Yeah, so that
yeah.
it was short like that. So I went to this guy, and do you know he played me? He gave me the most basic ass haircut you can imagine. No fun designs or anything like that, and I think I know why.
Why?
because my husband was sitting there with me. I
But
think he was
did you
scared.
ask for fun design or
I went to this man specifically for his specialty and I was like, yeah, I want something really cool. Like he gave me like two lines. That was like the design that he gave me. I was like, bro, I think he was shook. I think my husband scared him because after the fact, I was like, what happened? Why didn't I get the cool cut?
I
I
mean,
think
I can't imagine just because your husband was there that he wouldn't like if he had an expertise, why not express it? I
either
don't get
that
it.
or he was faking the funk and he really wasn't
Probably
doing
was
them
faking the fun.
haircuts.
Maybe he wasn't as good as he
But he
claimed
was
to be.
charging a grip for them haircuts.
Had you seen other people's haircuts and they were really
It was
funky?
like Instagram, like, and someone recommended this man to me because of his amazing designs.
And he gave you two lines?
It was not like whatever he did was nothing. I could have paid the $30
And that
with
was in Boston.
anybody else, and I drove all the way to Boston,
I remember that. I remember.
mad.
Okay.
But
Oh,
anyway,
okay. Yeah.
so if I'm gonna do abuse to my hair, I'm gonna do it when it's real short. So if I'm gonna start playing in chemicals and doing a whole bunch of stuff, I'm like, okay, I'll do it on the short hair because then it'll grow back.
Mm-hmm.
But once
I
it's a
am
certain
still
length,
between because I jacked it up last year with the
it's
pixie.
doing so much better. It's so much healthier now. Like you can even see like your bangs are coming in real good,
Oh, the bangs came back because remember they were like all the way up to my forehead.
which
I
was
mean to
cute
my
but
hairline.
unintentional.
It well at one point it got cuter as it started to grow out because the bang was long when I first got the cut. It was me messing around with it, and then I did a I never like to tell what I did, but I'm gonna tell what I did. I colored it myself and I put a relaxer.
That's the part you've been leaving out because I'm like, what? The color
Why did
messed her
it just
hair
like
up.
fall out? It was me. So I couldn't. It wasn't. It wasn't like it
The
was a
same
kid. It was
day?
a kitty one. No. It wasn't the same day. It didn't matter. My hair was just not having it. It was like maybe 2, 3 weeks later.
That creamy
Yeah,
crack, man.
yeah. Because
And I
it
can
was.
never get the pink suds to go away. When I would do my at-home perm, do you remember you do your perm at home and
Yeah,
then
and
there's a
with
little
the
bottle of neutralizer and until that bad boy came up white,
and I literally didn't put it in. It wasn't like I left it in there. I literally put it in for like a minute. But
and you
that was
did the neutralizer?
I did everything.
I don't know,
But
maybe yeah.
I don't know if it was because I hadn't had like any chemical in my hair stronger than a hair dye for like 20 something years. And but so it was me. I know it was me and I never told anybody. So I just fessed up
True
now.
confessions. Y'all are getting the real tea from Shahida for the real tea on what happened to her hair. Because this whole time I'm just like, Dax, you some bad Revlon, and I'm just blaming the box.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because then oh yeah, it was that Revlon too, though. I think that had something to do with it was because it was a Revlon I have never seen before, and it was the darkest black. Because if you have a pixie, it looks so good when it's black, right?
Yeah, it looks really
And,
good right now.
and it was it's not really dark as much as I had wanted to. And the pixie, the cut that I initially got, I didn't like. Honestly, I liked it better when it fell out
It was
because
so cute though.
it was really, but you could tell it was unhealthy. I could tell. I knew it was unhealthy. And I didn't even realize it until I looked at my driver's license picture and I'm like, what? My bang was a little bit longer than what it is now. And then when it started coming out, it was like all the way.
Yeah.
It was bad. I really effed it up, but thank God it started growing back after I said, you know what, hands off. I'm not touching it. I'm
Oh,
not touching
leave
it.
it to the
I
pros, man.
surrender. I
Especially at
surrender.
this age, when your body is already going through some weird
That's
stuff.
mm-hmm.
You got to just chill and leave it to the professionals because like think about it, I'm on a new medication every time I go to the doctor. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna put you on XYZ." I'm always on a new medication. And did you know? I just was 2 days ago years old when I found out that anesthesia can make your hair fall out. Did you know that?
No,
So, anesthesia from surgery, like being put under, can cause hair loss up to 1 year after your surgery.
I did have
Found that
anesthesia
out
too.
yesterday when I went to the hairdresser.
No, I would have never thought that. Why? 1 year after?
Up to one
Up to one?
year.
Oh God, it's like, but
And
you're
I
right about
stay
the
under
age.
the I stay having the surgery. So I'm like, I'm surprised I'm not bald headed.
Yeah, I would not have thought that. But it's true about like body and medications, something that you don't think about
Hmm.
because I'm borderline high blood pressure. So I take a very mild, it's not even a high blood pressure medicine, it's a actual a diuretic or and potassium. But I never think about it as like, oh, this could literally affect other parts of my body. I'm just going ahead, I'm taking it because I believe wholeheartedly if you are diagnosed with high blood pressure or even borderline high, you need to take some medicine.
Hmm.
Because that is when people say silent killer, I had an aunt who had it and just would not take her medicine, had to have a complete kidney transplant. Do not want to be that
Not
person.
a joke, people. And
And
yeah,
but I don't think about it as terms of like, other parts of my body. I just don't, but I need to. And my
yeah.
old ass. You need to be thinking about your old ass is taking this. You need to be thinking about everything.
Listen, the hormones are hormoning.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So how was your week, ma'am? You had a busy, busy week.
I
You
had
you
I
you
went
was
out so much this
funding
week.
out all over the place.
I went out, let me see. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna look at my little calendar now. I was out on the 17th. I was out on the 18th, the 19th. I went out on a Thursday, Friday. I was out a lot last week. So Funda Fest
Mm-hmm.
ended today
And
in Rhode Island, and
oh,
I
it ended today?
it ended today.
Oh,
And
okay.
I went to four of their events. So I went to the opening ceremony, then I went to Outspoken with Simplemente Sarah. Simplicmente Sarah. I went
Mm-hmm.
to the Liars contest, which was super fun, and I went to spoken word for adults. But on Thursday, you and I went out and we went to Soul Ties.
Which was very good. I enjoyed it. Where's my little soul tie thingy sitting up there? Can you see it?
Oh, I see it back there. Mine is on my bar downstairs.
I tried to get all like, Art Deco.
Yours was super cute. You did a really great job. It was like what do you call it? It's like almost like a stained glass type
Mm-hmm.
of
Mhm. That's what
yeah.
I was like, that's what I was going for. No, I fell
It
into
was
it.
given Picasso.
Yeah, don't get crazy.
I was like it could Art Basel.
But it was really fun. It wasn't I up until we started actually doing so, I still didn't know what this night was going to be about. He was explaining it, but it was very interesting to see people really open up and tell really personal things about their experience in growing, their experience in just trying to getting over trauma. It was
People were
people were very
bearing their
open.
souls. They
They
were
were
like, no pun
tears.
intended, people were really like giving raw, like detailed stories from their life. And I like honestly, it got to a point where I was like, yo, is this fake? Because so many people are just going so deep, and we're all strangers in a room for the most part, don't
Mhm.
know each other like that. One woman stood up and was like, I came here alone. A lot of people said that they had this, they were compelled to show up that night. Like
Mhm.
it was a Thursday night, after work, a lot of people like, it's
Yeah,
just
at
easy to,
7.
to just, yeah, cancel and not go. But honestly, the creator of Soul Ties, which is a card game, and the host Anthony Valentine was super welcoming and
Mhm.
just so amazing from jump. Like, first of all, Shahida was banging on the door like the police because the door was locked at 5:07. And it started at 7. She was like, doom, doom, doom. And
Is is it
they,
is it
he
open?
was like, well, it's a few more minutes, but it's cold. Come inside, lady.
Because at first I was like, I think they make us like line up to come in,
That
you know,
was
stay
so
outside.
funny. That was
And
so
then
funny. But I honestly, the way it went, it was almost like too perfect. The way people were talking, I was like, "Is this like are these his friends?" But then we saw someone that Shahida and I recognized, and she had no connection to this man. Her and
mhm.
her daughter were there. We saw some other people. You saw that therapist woman that you know there,
Yes,
and her friend.
yes, yeah. We got a
They
big
don't really have a connect. Like these people hadn't, they don't know this man from a can of paint. He just had a following. He did it in Boston earlier. I think he did it
the
on
night
Wednesday.
before.
And he'll be doing it in Brooklyn, New York, and Connecticut. He's going all around with Soul Ties. So it's really like this card game that you could play solo, or you could, and it comes with like a journal and some other stuff that we didn't even get into. But we just basically, he went around the room asking questions. And so we had to answer our questions. And then you could share if you wanted to share. And many people wanted to share and needed to share that night. It was really, really dope. It was like group it was a group therapy I didn't know I
It
needed.
was definitely like a group therapy. There
Yeah.
were like things I like hadn't thought about in years or don't,
Yeah.
came to mind. I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. It was I would be interested in the game. Remember, he only had like three then, and I didn't connect with him afterwards. But yeah, I would be interested in the game because it is always good. And I feel like around this time of the year, especially January, whatever, you have like, people kind of just like going back and reassessing their year and what they want for the future and doing the what is it?
Vision boards.
The vision boards and life charts and all that stuff. I used to love doing vision boards, but I haven't done one like in a long time. But that
For
used to always
me,
be fun.
it was so amazing to see men,
I
especially
said the same
black
thing.
men, just
Hmm.
opening up. And then there was a moment that happened so organically where people just started sharing about their entrepreneurial endeavors. So of
Hmm.
course I had to jump up and like, we got a podcast, y'all need to but there
Hmm.
was a seamstress there who's aspiring to start a clothing line. There was a gentleman who hosts rap battles, the biggest rap battles on the East Coast, apparently, featuring
Hmm.
some of the best battle rappers
We
out
gotta get
there.
him too.
There was a woman who runs like not a thrift shop, but like a small boutique shop in
And
Cranston.
Cranston,
And the
yeah.
majority, it was like 85% to 90% Black and Latinos in
Hmm.
that room.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
DJ was fire. She
Yeah, she
was
was real.
so
Now,
good.
did she always travel with him or was she from Rhode Island?
That I don't know. That's a really good question.
I kind of thought she was local.
She was playing them tunes. I did follow her, and I'll have to post
Mhm.
some information about her and maybe tag her in something. But she was playing songs for for grown folks.
She
I
was.
feel like she was playing like some Evelyn Champagne King. I don't remember what else she was playing, but she was playing some tunes.
It's so funny because I remember when the Evelyn Champagne King came on. I remember I lived in Boston, of course. I want to say I had to be like maybe 11 or 12 when they came out, but roller skating in front of our townhouse in Madison Park. So whenever I hear that song, I think about that day's whatever, because obviously it was playing out loud and me roller skating. And I had the ugliest roller skates you ever want to see. But that's what but so like I couldn't believe that she was playing all those like
Yeah,
really
she was
old
playing some
older songs.
tunes, some
Mhm.
tunes. And Anthony Valentine, aka Valentine, the host, the creator, he was just like so natural on the mic. He just like
Very
he had a
personable.
great command of the
Hmm.
room and he just kept everything really just like high tempo. I think one couple left before it was over, and they had to go pick up their kids.
Yeah.
Everyone else stayed. And then when it was over, people still kind of were lingering and mixing and mingling. And that says a lot because there was no food. I was so hungry.
You know what I did like, you know how, so one of the exercises we did is that we had to write cards.
Yeah,
And we had to write cards, but we had to write it as if didn't know who we were writing it for. He's like, write it to yourself, but like from a person who doesn't know you. And so, we all wrote it. And then at the very end, he hands out cards, but not you don't get your card. You're giving your card to someone else. He's handing them out. Did you get a good card?
I didn't open it yet
You didn't? Why?
because I forgot. He
I
said don't open it in the car. So
I wait till I got home.
right. So I gotta find it. I think it
So,
might be in my purse.
so this is the one I got. So this is the card I got, and it
Okay.
said on the inside, always listen to yourself and your instincts. Let God be your guide.
That's good. That's powerful. The whole thing was really, really good. Like it was a great idea, and I wish him well. Like I hope this
Hmm.
really blows up. And he gave you three different levels. So it was like, what was it? Beige, orange, and
Oh yeah,
black.
for the questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So depending on how deep you want to get, black was the deepest level. So there are three questions, and you could do like one that's a little more surface, one that's medium grade, and then one that's like super deep.
Hmm.
And I thought all of them were, unlocked a little something in like you said, tapped into like a memory, maybe something I hadn't thought about for a while, or maybe made me think of something, and then that gave me like a little light epiphany. A couple of times I was like, that's why I'm like this, or that's why I do things this way. And it was just the prompts. He gave us seven prompts. And then we got to what's cool is you could express yourself in the written form or you could do art. So I was like mixing my written form with a couple little doodles, and it was very therapeutic. Super, super fun event. I highly recommend it to anyone if Soul Ties comes to your town.
Yeah, I hope it comes back in the summertime, and it's obviously that is something that is needed, especially I would say, especially in the Black and Latino community. There's so much different things that we have to just deal with on the regular that sometimes we don't even know that we're dealing with things
Right.
because we have so many microaggressions just moving through the world. But it was fun, and like you said, I was really impressed that there were a lot of Black men there and that they were so open to, like, recognizing therapy,
Hmm.
recognize expressing themselves, recognizing crying, being sensitive. That was really good. That was really good to see. So lucky for those women who had those men with them.
Yeah, and they were on like legitimate dates. It
Mhm,
was very nice to see like
mhm,
black love. Some of it was like new, you could tell it was like new love, which
mhm,
was very cute. And I was like, it inspired me. I'm like, I gotta get a date night together with my boo. We gotta do something
mhm,
like out of the
mhm.
box, think something like that would be fun to do. I'm like, we can't just always go to restaurants. We gotta spice it up a little bit.
That's what I'm saying about restaurants. And that's why I said when you and Tanya and I were talking today, I wanted to do more things that are more physical. You
Well, you
know,
don't want to go up in trees.
who?
You.
No, I said rock climbing. I said rock climbing.
Okay, up on
We did
rocks.
we did the treetop adventure. You went through it. God, I'm like, the way that I chickened out of this thing, I'm like, I was like halfway on the ropes climbing to the next set of trees, and I had a full-blown panic attack. And I was like, I don't know if somebody had to put up a ladder. They was like, we cannot put up a ladder. You have to walk back. And I could have just walked. I was halfway. I was halfway,
That
but I made
sucker did
myself
not
walk.
feel safe, and we were on the
It
medium
took
level.
the first one was to me the hardest one because
Right.
it didn't have any kind of, like, all it was
No
one
security.
single rope, and then you're just walking across it with no wood under you. No,
So my
I
thing
can't.
is, and this is probably one of those situations where I should check myself because pride goes before a fall. Anytime I see little kids doing something, and they're not scared. I'm like, Tracy, swallow your pride and get your tail up there. These grade school kids.
Mhm. But it wasn't that day because I saw my grandson get up there, and at first I was nervous. I was like, you know what? Let me see how he does or whatever. When I say that boy took off, he thought he was Spider-Man up there. You
Well,
know,
that's what I'm
he was
saying.
gone.
I had my mom's two foster kids with me. They were like what, 11, 12, and
His name was Darius at the time. He was about 11.
those chicks were gone. I was like, bro, I'm responsible for you, and you're like 30,000 feet above the ground with like, and they were, you're responsible for hooking your harness properly when you get to the end. And I accidentally hooked it wrong on one of them.
Oh,
And if I hadn't realized that I hooked it wrong, yo, I would have been roadkill. So
I didn't
I
even
was just
think.
like, it,
So
and like I said, our trainer training, which was a 5-minute presentation by a 12-year-old who with a summer job. No. And
I
then no,
try it again. I
let's
definitely try it again.
here's what's crazy about that place.
Hmm.
They offer it at night for adults only with alcohol.
With alcohol?
I'm almost certain there's drinking.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think it is.
I think it's just the nighttime lights, but the kids can come too.
I thought there was an adult only.
It could probably.
We need to research that because I just imagine somebody
There is no way you
going,
could be drinking and doing that. There's no way.
gotta look it up.
There's no way. There is absolutely.
I just don't want to do it at night. I could barely do it during the day.
When you look at it at night, it does look like really fun because it's just kind of, I just like anything with like, kind of like those night lights or whatever. It always
Yeah.
looks, more
Yeah, it looks very pretty and I like to stay on the ground.
treetop adventures. I want to see. It's in Canton. Is it in
It
Canton?
was in Canton, Mass. Yeah. So I agree, Shahida. No, like brunch is cute. We went to brunch today, but I think that we should do like more, and this is like girl stuff, guy stuff, like maybe a cooking class, a museum visit.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to keep going to
There was a
restaurants.
ceremony at PVD Art today that I missed. I didn't get to go to it because I was a little too tipsy when you dropped me off. I was like, I'm sitting my behind down. But they did have like an opening, exhibit or something like that. I'll go to the next one. But I was done. I had two espresso martinis. And then I asked the guy, I was like,
Regular coffee.
I asked the guy for regular coffee and said, what flavor shots do you
Hmm.
have? Now, if you drink coffee or have ever seen coffee,
Misunderstood.
you think like a pump of caramel, a pump,
Hmm.
and he goes, "Oh, we have peppermint." I'm like, sounds fantastic. I'm gonna like, take it easy and have a cup of coffee and calm myself down because I definitely was lit. This man, shout outs to Pat over at Tavern on the in the square, brought me a shot of
The
maybe
avatar
peppermint
of Asia.
schnapps. I don't know
Hmm.
what he brought me, but it was
It did look
alcohol.
like schnapps or something. Because was it thick?
It was. And
Mhm.
then it had a candy cane rim. I mean, I couldn't not drink it.
You could have, but did you
No,
put
I
it in
could
the
not
coffee or
drink
did you
it.
just drink it? Did you put it in the coffee?
No, I said bump the
Oh, you
coffee.
did
This
that.
shot is, yeah, let's do this.
She was lit. She was lit this afternoon.
I wasn't driving. I was like, yo, this is perfect.
She was lit. It was funny.
I
Yeah.
was
But I do.
definitely
I
lit.
want to do more things this year. And I keep going back. I have to find out that woman's name that was at the TED Talk that you helped organize last
Oh,
year.
okay, I can
But
look it
she
up.
talked about outside, or just how as Black Americans we don't enjoy the outside as much. Like, it's right, like tubing or skiing or running and hiking and those kind of things. And I said, I definitely want to be more intentional about doing those. I want to do the rock climbing. Nobody wants to do it with me but Darius, but
That's okay. That's cool. Y'all do that.
I'm like, Tanya, how do you jump out of a plane and say absolutely no to rock climbing?
Let's talk about Tanya jumping out of planes. And I want to do that too.
But how do you say yes to that and no to like rock climbing
So
inside a
for the
building?
rock climbing, for me,
Inside a building.
it's not that I feel it's dangerous. It just doesn't seem interesting to me.
Really? Okay, I want to do
But
that.
soaring through the sky sounds amazing.
I don't know. I think I have to get through treetop adventures first before I even ever think about skydiving.
So was it Unique Sykes
What?
that did the I should know better. So from the TEDx committee, I think it might have been Unique that did the talk on outdoors.
Yeah, you and I hope it's still up because I'm gonna link it here because I've mentioned her specific TED Talk like I don't know what 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, and forgive me, Unique, if you're listening, or Unique's family. And we're gearing up for TED Talk 2025. It's coming up. We're
Mhm.
actually in the process of doing some application drill down right now. So May, it's coming. Make sure you put that on your calendar.
In
I'll have a
May,
date for everyone. It's coming up again soon.
I swear these days and these months just fly by like nothing. Like absolutely nothing. Oh well. So what else? We did that. Then you did the fun fest. What I did, some of the things I did, let me
Yeah. So I
talk
just want to
about.
go back and confirm that it was Unique Sykes,
It was a
it
unique
was
site.
called Reclaiming the Outdoors, We Outside by
It'd be
Unique
great, I
Sykes.
mean.
And we're going to tag that YouTube video so you can watch Unique's TEDx Roxbury talk about going outdoors and being one with nature.
It we don't I yeah, you have to watch it because she when she broke it down, there were like just certain aspects that, I think that, I mean, we're outside people because, back in the 80s, what, you was out on your stoop. We were stoop kids.
And
We were
did not
outside
want to
every
come
day. We
inside.
was riding bikes all the time. We were roller skating outside. But then as an adult, you don't find the enjoyment in it. You're going to work, you're coming home, you might do some walking, but we don't go like and experience nature on a whole as much as we possibly could. I mean, I
Yeah.
know a lot of people who go camping and stuff and and try, but I know for myself personally, I wasn't doing that.
I'm down for a glamping trip.
Yeah, I would do it. I would do it either way, actually, to be honest. I don't think I would do tent. I would do cabin. I don't know if I
Cabin,
want to sleep out in a tent.
a yurt.
I could do that. I could do that.
I did it with Girl Scouts. Like I don't have like I love the outdoors. Of course, I
Hmm.
spent a lot of my childhood in
Hmm.
Honduras. It was hot as hell. We was always outside because it was too
Hmm.
hot to be inside. We didn't have central air. I don't know anyone who had central air when I was growing up in Honduras. So we were always
I don't
outside.
know anybody who has central air growing up in Boston.
I'd always get yelled at for walking around barefoot. They'd be like, "You're gonna get worms. You're gonna get worms," and I'd be like, "Oh well, guess I'm gonna get worms," because I just always have my shoes off
Hmm.
and stuff like that. So, yeah,
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I definitely want to get back to just doing more things out and instead of the same old. I think as we get older, we do the same thing. It's always restaurants and, you know, we're not using our imagination,
yeah, agreed.
you know? So we'll
So
see.
you were getting ready to say something?
Oh, so it's kind of going a little bit into politics, but and I know how the 92% of us were saying like we're done, we're resting or whatever. But then there's also that small group of us, and then it's going to be a larger group too that is just like, you know what? I really can't rest. I really just can't accept where things are going. So one of the organizations I went to this weekend was the ACLU. They had a meeting and a training on legislative advocacy. So I want, to really be intentional about local politics and what we need to do to kind of, protect each other and to make sure that the policies that are coming out of Washington were buffered up against because when I heard about the ICE going into school, elementary schools, elementary, or trying to get into elementary schools in some of these, like, safe haven cities like Chicago, and even here in Rhode Island, Massachusetts. But it's like, of all the things, the cruelty of going into a school, an elementary school, and taking out a 7 or 8 year old because they're not here legally is the most frightening thing I can think of for a parent. But in the same instance, Latinos voted for this man who said that this is exactly what he was going to do. And now you hear people crying and moaning, saying, I voted for him and I just didn't think he would do this. Well, ma'am, I don't know what you heard, but he said it plainly. But anyway, I do want to get, and I do implore other people to, we really need to, as a group, start coming together as, working on what we need internally, because internally inside our own communities. So that was one of the things I was getting from the ACLU. There was a lot of Caucasians there, older Caucasians, which is a good thing to see, because at least you know that what's going on is bullshit. And if you're going to do something to try and help, I want you to stay in that lane and do exactly what you need to do, because there's only so much that we can do as people of color. You need to be checking your relatives and your family and the people who benefit from this. So it was good to see, but I do want to work more with people of color. Well, when I say people of color, I want to work more with just Black
Black people.
people,
Well,
because people of color is not something that is a term that I use for myself. I consider myself a Black woman, not a person of color.
so I use that term when there's a mix of groups involved. So if it's
Yeah, I don't
all
even
black
use it
people,
then.
I'm gonna say black people. If it's a mix of
I get it.
other, other ethnicities, then I use that. But one thing about Funda Fest, so Funda means to learn,
Mhm.
and the
Did
root.
not know that. Where's that from?
I'm not sure which African language it derives
Okay.
from, but
Mhm.
it's it's a festival put on by the Rhode Island Black Storytellers,
Mhm.
aka RIBS, which is a cute and very ironic acronym. Black
Mhm.
folks, ribs,
Mhm.
but also ribs.
Did not know about that.
um,
Okay.
I think the importance, why I kept going back for more and going back for more and going back for more, is that as much as they try to take something out of school, try to take down curriculums, they try to stop people from getting information. Storytelling, which is an African thing at its core, at least I know, like being a griot or being storytelling is very African to me.
Mhm.
That's a way to maintain history, legacy, share information. And as we all know, when Black people were seeking freedom, no matter where they were, they found ways to signal each other
Yeah.
privately,
Mhm.
secretly. Part of that was through storytelling, through song, which was storytelling. So like there were songs that people thought, oh, this Negro spiritual. It actually was telling you how to get the hell out of Dodge.
Mhm.
Black people were braiding rice into their hair, so that they could have food when they got to wherever they were going. The uh, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu actually was started by Africans, and it was made to look like a dance when in reality they were teaching each other fighting techniques to be able to fight each other, for sport, but also in the time of a revolution. So all of the things were being talked about during the storytelling event.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
was so beautiful, and I was like, one thing they have not been able to take away from us yet is the ability to share information and stories with each other one on one.
Mhm.
And there
Mhm.
was actually a gentleman last night, Nestor Gomez, he's a renowned storyteller. He's told stories all over the world. He lives in Chicago. He was undocumented for a number of years, maybe like decades. And he was in fear of going to get his green card, go get his citizenship. And he finally got it because he wanted to have a voice and he wanted to vote.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
things like that, this man, he worked, he contributed to society, and he even paid taxes as an undocumented person, and now he's quote unquote safe as a citizen of the United States. But people with even with green cards have to be very careful because the government can actually can deport you even if you have a green card.
Hmm.
If you break certain laws and rules that are, so if you, for example, get caught on a drug charge, if you break certain laws, green card does not protect you from being deported.
And it shouldn't. We have enough. I mean, I get that. That is, I mean, if you are actually, charged with a serious crime and you're trying to become a citizen, that that
But
doesn't make sense. So you need
we
to go.
also know the American legal system. Sometimes people get caught up for things that they have not
That's
done.
true. That's very fucking true. That is
So
true.
that's a little scary to think about
Hmm.
somebody getting arrested on a drug charge or a gun charge, and it's
And more than
not.
likely, they probably from a brown or black country. So, but it
So,
it's always so complicated. It really is really hard to, like you said, it's really hard to be like 100% this is it, because there's so much gray and there's so much corruption in that gray of, people, because again, you never hear about undocumented Irish. You never. Boston and Chicago are full of undocumented Irish.
how
You
many
never hear
Canadians
about
came?
undocumented Italians,
How many Canadians came and never went back?
Canadians. I don't know why. Go home. But yeah, it
You
is.
know,
It's
but that also ties into the whole DEI conversation because every day is something new. Next week we'll have some new fodder to talk about, but this whole DEI, you and I were talking about it this afternoon. The most heavily impacted community who's going to suffer for the dismantlement of DE&I is Caucasian women. Not sure if they know that, but that's what's happening. So the little bit of crumbs that you were given people of color through DEI, and even they hold a candle to the inroads they were making for Caucasian women to become CEOs, to have higher level management positions, to get certain employment, to have pay equity.
And they
So
weren't even getting pay equity. They still weren't making the whole dollar. They were what, 82% or, of it compared to other groups. They still weren't getting the whole dollar.
yeah, so we gonna see.
Yeah, it's I was telling you about someone from the NAACP was telling me that they did a poll at Providence Place, and they interviewed, like, just people throughout the mall, and she said there were a lot of young Latinos that were interviewed and said that they would vote for Trump, but they would just hope that they wouldn't deport their mother. So what were you voting for when he said that this is what he was going to do? What he's going
So,
to do?
I mean, to me, when you say teenagers, I'm not thinking 18. I'm thinking maybe under 18. I
I'm
would,
thinking, the whole gamut, but still, if your young mind is saying you'd vote for somebody that could literally tear up your home, and you know that part because you wouldn't have said, "Well, I would hope that they wouldn't, deport my mother." A
yeah.
part of you knows that. What would make you say I would still vote for that person?
And I wonder how the question was posed. Was it a
Mhm.
series of questions? Like, did
It was
they know?
definitely it was a series of
But
questions.
I'm wondering,
They
did
were
they
leaning.
know that that was a thing that could happen, or was that something that they were told during the question process?
I would feel like, even would it matter?
I think it would
If
matter
somebody told
because if you
me,
didn't know, and then
no, but if
some,
somebody told me that, oh, oh, if you vote for this person, your parent, something could happen to your parent and they could be deported, I would be like, oh, well, never mind then.
right.
Even if I learned that on the spot.
That's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
no,
I
no,
need
no,
more
no.
context.
That's what I meant. I don't feel like I need more context for the simple fact that Latinos, who are grown ass people, still voted
Hmm.
for a man that said mass
And
deportations,
he
and then
definitely said it.
came back and said, I don't even want what is it? Birthright citizenship.
I
So
remember.
if your parents were not here legally and you were born here, I don't even want that part. He said it very clear. Plenty of times. And
But
so many of them jumped on and said, "We don't want them
but
either.
look
We
how
don't
many
want them either."
people were sweating him, really thinking he brought TikTok back when he's the one that took it away. He's like,
And
he
what
ha
about the black
he
people who were like, he
has
gave me $150?
he has brainwashed some people. He has just brainwashed so many people. I don't even know how, because he's not even trying.
Well, because he's not, he doesn't even sound intelligent.
He's not
So what were
charismatic.
you
He's not
listening to?
intelligent. He's a bully.
He's boy, maybe it's the bullying part.
I don't
It
know.
must be the bullying and the boisterism,
They think
you
that
know?
that's alpha male activity. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know
yeah.
what compels people or attracts people to him. There's nothing about him that interests me
He
as far as
looked
being my president. Nothing at all.
like fucking Jabba the Hutt. He has no, there's nothing about his body. When you see him, he just looks like he's passing gas all the time. And then the fact that people said he actually stinks because he
Yeah.
wears a diaper.
He could smell like cool water. He still ain't shit. I don't care. I got no love, no room for him. And as I
And
said,
I
like,
don't have it for people who voted for him.
not at all. Not
Because
at all.
now, as we are what, January 26th, and we've seen all
Oh,
the stuff how he's coming so hard for
he's
Black people.
on fire. He's on fire right now. We'll see what happens.
Hmm.
And time will tell. He's getting his cabinet in order. We'll see what happens.
Oh my God. People who haven't even graduated college, and we have to have a master's degree. We have to jump through all these hoops. People with no experience, absolutely none. But other than the fact that they are just a white male, that's what gets them in. But you really come for us when Black women are the most educated group in the United
Have the
States.
most master's degrees, have the most percentage of doctoral, like new, like I think in
Hmm.
the last few years there was some kind of survey that was done, and we have the most. So
It's been done for the last 20 years.
what I would
They've
recommend
held
to
that.
people is if you're applying for positions, skip the demographic information that's optional. Don't tell them nothing. Okay? Let
Yeah.
them find out who you are on that Zoom meeting or when you
Hmm.
walk into the interview. Don't give them the ammunition to pull your application before you even walk through the door. Don't tell them
But the
you're
thing is that now the sad part is you're right, but once you get in there, he also dismantled well, he's getting rid of the 1965 it's not the equal rights, it's equal employment. So where you thought like, "Oh, I'm being discriminated because I'm black
oh
and
the
you could
EEO.
sue."
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. So now he's getting rid of that. So now you can't even sue. So
So who's
you
supposed to
can.
do all these jobs?
Well, we're gonna definitely see who's gonna be doing all these like picking the oranges in
I
Florida
already
and
told
doing
you,
labor work in
I'm not
Florida.
doing Handmaid's Tale, okay? These people that live with me have gun licenses.
Hmm.
So I'm not going.
Me, my grandson literally asked me today, "What would you do if they brought back slavery?" I said, "I would go out dying before I ever be a slave." I said, because I'm not going to be and it's not about me. I'm going out like that because I don't want my grandchildren to be a slave.
Yeah.
It's disgusting that he even has to ask a question like that.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, it's insane. But, I'm feeling hopeful again. Like I know like a couple of weeks ago you guys got me. I was not feeling the least bit hopeful about anything because one too, like all these people that are being deported, I think Colombia has already said that they're not taking anybody. So if we have them, we got to keep them. So Trump is saying that anything he's gonna put sanctions on them now. He said that today. Sanctions on
So that we don't have to pay income tax. He's bugging.
no,
He's
no.
saying that
We'll be.
the way to repeal income tax is by putting tariffs
Tariffs?
on other countries.
Okay, dummy. But
Good
yeah,
luck.
Mexico's not paying, they're not accepting theirs back either. So
Well,
I don't
you know
know.
what I hope? I really hope that if people do have to get deported, and I feel bad for people who came here looking for a better life, take whatever knowledge, information you got while you were in the States. Y'all got computers down there and the internet. Do something dynamic in your country. Build something up so amazing in your country and collaborate with other deportees and just make it so bomb that Americans are going to be wanting to go to your country and y'all are going to be like, don't come in, don't knock on our door. Y'all can't come over here.
We are not the only first world country.
No, we're
There are
not.
other places in the world that are far better, and you'll be just as successful.
I've
But
been
I like
to,
your idea better. I like the idea of pouring that into your country because, like, you think about Mexico. I mean, I know they have their issues or whatever, but that's a beautiful country. There
it's
are
a big
beautiful
country.
cities.
Yeah.
You can have the same exact thing, and then with America putting tariffs and stuff on you, you're gonna be charging us up anyway. So, put some of that back into your own.
Where does he think these countries are going to get this money from?
I don't know. I don't know. We'd like to see. I have to look more into these these freaking I'm sorry, freaking ideas of these tariffs and how I want to know how he specifically is going to benefit from it because that's the only reason he's talking about it because it's more of how it is going to increase his pocket because they're making money as we speak now, but how is it going to benefit him and his
And I
business?
say it every week. How much money do you need? How much money do you need? If you've got millions, you've got billions, and you have
Billion.
like, how much money do you need and to do what?
But when you're a soulless people, nothing is ever enough because nothing fills them. Nothing
No.
fills them.
And
So
and,
it's
and that's
never
I'm like it's sad that we have to deal with this because you're bored.
and soulless.
But I do want to mention because I was just thinking about speaking of free housing, since someone's going to be living for free in the White House, they just announced that next month they're going to open those homeless the shelters for the unhoused off the highway here. Those are going to open in February.
When did they say that?
Actually, hold on. I'm gonna pull it,
All the money from the bridge, the federal money that we were supposed to be getting, that we're not going to get that,
girl. I cannot. I
or
must
they're
have
putting
sent
a
this to you the
hold
other
on
day.
it.
But yeah, so they're gonna be opening those up, and I just feel awful because I'm driving through. I was driving through the city last night, and I saw someone like just sitting at a bus shelter, and I think they were there for the night. It was awful.
So where are these apartments? I don't think I've ever seen them.
So it's the Pallet Shelter Village. It's expected to open at the end of February. I'm like, y'all need to open them now.
When
People
it's
are
starting to, the weather will be starting to break at the end of February.
right. It's located off Victor Street in Providence.
Victor?
It's a community of cabins meant to shelter homeless people, and it's slated to open at the end of February. They've been there for over an entire year. I think I've been telling you this. I drive past it every time I get. It's like right behind Foxy Lady.
Okay.
It's right over there. It's 45 tiny Campbell's cabins assembled off Route 146 in Providence. To temporarily shelter people experiencing homelessness.
Ugh, 40.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's not enough. We have way more
not
people than
enough.
that, but it's
And you think
temporary.
about like, people who might have families, ugh.
Yeah.
And those
So,
things are always really kind of scary as it is. You want to kind of separate families and children. You don't know the scary situations because a lot of times people who are homeless are suffering some type of mental illness, drug addiction. So hopefully that and once they house these people, there would be someone there to help monitor it,
And
just
there
to keep
have
people
been
safe.
warming centers. They
Hmm.
have been good about putting warming centers up. But it's just, it's very sad because it has been bitterly cold
Literally.
here. Thank
Mm.
goodness we haven't had much snow, but it's been bitterly cold. And it just, as we're thinking about things like restaurant week and festivals and fun things to do, there are unhoused people that are definitely suffering in our community. So I hope that, they can get these up and put an end to some of that suffering and give people like some kind of transition place between the street and a permanent house.
And I'm very disappointed because I know they have been, I know these are up for a year, but they have had these, committees, these homeless shelter committees that have been in effect. I mean, that were put in effect maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and no one has worked on them. So they were on the committee, there were no meetings, nothing. And every winter oh, we got to get back to it. Oh, we got to
Yeah,
get
y'all
back
need to be
to it. And
doing that
nothing's
all
done.
year round.
Exactly. Because then what about like in the summertime when it's like blistering? We had some blistering heated days in the summertime when it got over 100, and then and it was still hot at night. People were suffering then as well. I know, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
And this is why I say local politics, joining the ACLU or other, other United Ways or whatever it is that you can get involved in, you need to, because there is somewhere that your voice is needed, where your body is needed, where your mind is needed, that you need to jump in and help out, because we definitely can't look towards this president because he's talking about stopping our federal funds to rebuild that bridge.
And
So we
and how
gotta,
many millions have already been lost because of that to the industry, so to the hospitality industry. And we know some personal casualties ourselves, like
Mhm.
restaurants that are shuttering. There's a number of restaurants. It seemed like over the last 2 weeks, like 2, 3 restaurants I've heard of have shut down. And a lot of it is just they're not getting the people coming over the bridge as part of
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
And you know, it's funny because our Providence downtown, like there's some empty spaces too. Like there's still some empty storefronts. And I'm like, why aren't people snapping up these storefronts to rent and have their business? But it's almost like a mini depression of our downtown area.
Yeah. I was discussing this with somebody who actually is from Boston too. There are not many downtowns as good as Boston. And Boston has always had, to me, a very robust downtown.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like when I was a teenager or in my 20s, even my 30s, going to other cities like Philadelphia, they don't have a downtown like us. Even New York City, downtown is not as robust as ours. They don't have like a major chain stores in their financial area where we do.
I
And
think that's by design though. I think it's a little more boutiquey down in Soho, and then they let Times Square have all the
yeah, but I'm talking about the financial district. I mean,
financial,
Soho
like the
definitely
combination of
has
it.
its
Yeah, I
has
think we didn't have the space. They just put everything all in one little area, and
right,
then
but
they
that's the same
pushed
with
out.
like other big cities, even like Cleveland or Philadelphia or downtown Los Angeles. It's not as, I don't know. You can definitely see what Boston has done, and maybe it being a smaller city, it helped make it robust. But when I'm thinking about when I was like a teenager, we were down there every single day,
And we
just
still ain't
about.
got no parking down there. I'm grown. I don't want to take the train no more.
But even if you're not down there, then teenagers were down
But
there
I
because
don't.
it was
It's not even
places
lit like when
up.
we were. It ain't lit like when we were kids. We had the corner mall
Hmm.
popping. Okay, we had that whole area down by high
But it's still
voltage
busy. Look at all the, like, it's still busy. Like I'm thinking like when
Lafayette
I think of
Mall.
like downtown, when I'm thinking of like downtown Providence, you know, you have different options to go and eat. But when it's like 12 o'clock downtown Providence and businesses let out for lunch or whatever, it's not crowded. That's what I'm saying. When you go down to it's 12 o'clock, 12 to 2 down Boston, there's like so many people out going to lunch. Remember Sam LaGrasse's? The line would be like around the
So
corner.
I wonder if like Fidelity has their own cafeteria and maybe like
A lot of places
Virgin has their
downtown
own.
Boston have their own cafeterias, but yet you would
That's
still
true.
see people out.
That
Because
is true.
when I worked at Bank of America, they was at one not one financial one yeah one financial had a cafeteria, and usually the cafeterias are cheaper than the restaurants,
So what are
so
y'all
they keep
bagging your lunch?
the
Y'all,
building.
who works downtown besides you, Shahida? Let us. Are y'all bringing your turkey sandwiches? Like what is happening? Why aren't y'all
I was
going
talking
to
about
restaurants?
downtown Boston. I'm
Or
like,
is it? Or are they too high? Because these
well,
restaurants did lose their minds during the pandemic and start overcharging for everything.
even
So
before then, it just
really,
was, in
but
my opinion, it wasn't as robust for you have Blue Cross Blue Shield downtown.
that's
You have, like
true.
you said, you have Virgin, you have Rhode Island Housing, you have law offices downtown. Where are these people going to
Where
lunch?
y'all going to lunch? You want to hear something crazy? So I just read that Tiffany and Company is leaving the mall.
Really?
That's a, to me, that's a bombshell revelation.
Well, I've only been in there once, so
So, because I used to work for Tiffany, so I worked for the one in Copley, right?
okay.
And, I would always be interested to go see the other Tiffany's in other malls. So,
Mhm.
and just coming out to Providence Place Mall was like a whole thing when we lived in Boston. And it was
Yeah.
cool because they had a Tiffany. So that meant that mall to me was bougie, had
Hmm.
a Tiffany inside of it, and it had carpet. You guys got carpet on the floor in
Hmm.
Providence Place Mall. So to hear that Tiffany is closing, the mall is in receivership, but they're saying that that was before the mall even went into receivership.
Hmm.
Started exploring closing. So to me, taking out the higher end stores out
I
of
think
that
that's going to
mall
happen.
is a death knell. So if the Apple store goes,
North Attleboro. Look at North
oh, North
Attleboro Mall.
Attleboro, I don't even understand what's happening in that
But when
mall.
20 years ago, I used to go there all the time. It had the Sears. I mean, J.C. Penney is still there, but it had Sears, it had J.C. Penney, it had Macy's, and then a whole lot of other little stores, and always like, what is the other, not Ann, what is it? The Loft was,
Ann
there.
Taylor.
It's like, yeah, now nothing. It's like going inside what is it called? The Emerald Square Mall is like going into a scary movie
It
when
is. It's like Five Nights at Freddy in there.
it is. I forgot about that. It is exactly like that.
It's so I went to the food court in there one day because I think I went to
Do they
JC
still
Penney.
have it?
I was just like, am I in a prank? Am I being punked? Like, why is it like this? One store had a sign up that was like on vacation. Never seen a food court where not like two out of like the 10 food court places were open. And then the stores that are open in that mall, it's like some store that sells like bonsai trees and
Yeah, they've
crystals.
been there forever.
I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much
Why
longer
is it a
that
whole
mall is
mall
going to be.
open to accommodate three stores? Like I don't understand it. And
Do
it,
they? I mean, because the only big anchor store that they have is
Macy's,
Macy's and J.C. Penney.
Macy's and J.C. Penney. There's a black owned restaurant there, and I started to go eat there, but I something was off. I just I left. I turned
Yeah,
around and left. I was like, I'm good on
yeah.
this. It was weird.
I'm nervous about Providence Place Mall. I mean, because it is. I mean, I don't go there that often, and when I do go, it's usually at lunchtime. We'll go up there. Sometimes we're going to Cheesecake Factory or whatever, or run into Old Navy. But eh, I would hope, because we people need places to go. I mean, great online shopping is great, but like, you think teenagers need places to work, because that's
There's
what
a
I think
huge
about
movie
more than
theater and a
anything.
Dave and Buster's and a night like there are activities in there.
Hmm.
I think the movie but honestly, that movie theater Every
It's
time I
not that
go in
great.
there, there's like five people in the whole movie theater. There's no one going to the movies anymore. And it's a nice IMAX theater.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's freaking huge in there. I
Well,
was
I'm gonna go see Captain America in the IMAX, so I'll be
I
there for
went last week to see one of them days
mm.
and there were like seven people in the theater. But
You go in the
literally
daytime or in the evening?
we went, when did we go?
I
The
thought you
day,
went
it
like
was a daytime, but it
daytime.
just was so like so
But it was a
quiet.
weekday, wasn't it?
Was it? Did we go on MLK Day?
Oh, okay.
It was a holiday. Now,
Yeah.
but mind you, the food court was lit and the
Oh,
whole mall was popping, but nobody was in the movie theater.
hmm.
Um, it just was, I don't
Yeah, when
know.
I go, I see a lot of people, especially young kids. I see a lot of young kids and stuff. It's always full, but it just, when you read like, Providence Business Journal, it does not sound good.
Well, they mismanaged the money too, apparently. Like they took a big loan and didn't pay it back. I'm like, well, what
And
do y'all
that
do with the
wasn't
money?
DEI. That was
But
not
y'all
DEI.
also were letting people live in the walls in the mall. So there was a lot of mismanagement happening with the Providence Place
And
Mall.
still,
You
but
let a whole tribe of people go live in your walls.
I
So
need these stores to stay open.
anyway,
These teenagers need jobs.
yeah, for
They need
sure.
they need places to go to. I think about that more so than anything.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah,
don't
the
know.
old ladies need somewhere to walk and get their steps.
Yeah, but they can do that in North Attleboro because there ain't nobody there. So
It
they're
ain't,
not
I
slowing
wouldn't
anybody
go
down
in there.
or
I wouldn't
running
let my
into
granny
anyone.
go in there.
It is. It's like a scary. I feel like I'm in a Stephen King book. Something is about to pop off. I don't know what, but
Well, we'll
something
see what they do with these malls. Maybe they'll make it housing since we clearly have a housing crisis. Like make it apartments or whatever. I don't know.
low income.
Something.
But I feel like these, big corporations are buying up. Oh, I heard that Apple just bought their store in Boston. That big space. It was like 800.
They
I want
bought
to
it
say,
so that they could always permanently be there.
yep.
Okay. They,
I
I'm
was,
sure
I was,
they're like across from what the Taj Hotel and like all these high-end hotels. People come from all over the world and stay in
mm,
that area. So
that's probably why they bought
yeah,
it.
I'm sure they're making big
That's
money
big for them.
and that's a good anchor store for them. But
Like, we not paying no rent. We're gonna buy this.
okay, they're like, listen, we about to do what we do. But yeah, what else is going on? Restaurant week kicked
Oh yeah,
off
let's end on that.
today
What?
in Providence. So you can go to goprovidence.com. Restaurant weeks kicked off today and ends February 8th. So there are over 60 dining options available. So 60 restaurants
Hmm.
on the list that are there to give you some options for lunch and dinner specials. So go check those out. Let's help these small businesses, especially the mom and pops. Let's help them stay afloat. And that's really what these restaurant weeks are about, is giving you exposure to restaurants maybe you haven't been
Yeah.
to and helping these small businesses thrive.
So on that note, it's like Sunday night here, and you guys will be hearing this tomorrow, but it's past Shahida's bedtime. It's 9:14 now.
I gotta go watch my shows that I've
What
been
show?
recording.
What are you watching?
I have to watch the 90 before the 90 days
Oh, okay.
reunion tell all. So part three, not
Oh,
of the tell all.
those tell-alls be like what, 9 episodes now?
Look here, I need to see who's throwing hands.
Hmm.
Okay, I need to see who's throwing hands, who's gonna be crying, the whole nine. So I gotta watch my show.
Yeah, I haven't watched 90 Day in a long. I haven't watched any like shows really other than the ones that come on Netflix.
And
The
so the
Married at
our counterparts over at Please Delete This podcast,
hmm
they watch it and they
at
were
the 90
giving,
Day.
yeah, they were giving a recap. I was listening in my earbuds while I was walking around the grocery store earlier. I had to leave the store. I had to like quickly get my stuff and get out because I was laughing so hard
You
at
gotta
their
listen to their
commentary. I was like, people are going to lock me up. And this happens every time I listen to their podcast.
I
So
gotta
I was
listen.
texting Jen earlier. I was like, y'all are going to get me. committed
Oh,
because
good.
every time people see me out and I'm listening to your podcast, I'm in here cackling so hard. And then people are just probably like, why is this woman just laughing for no reason? It's because I'm listening to Please Delete This.
These ear pods in my ear. Something's
It's so
going on.
funny. But yeah, and folks, you know where to find us. We are on YouTube. You can watch full episodes, video or audio on YouTube or Spotify. Social media. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are not back on TikTok, y'all.
What did we say, Tracy?
We ain't going back. That's what
You all
Kamala
tried to
said.
play in our faces, and we are grown ass women.
And if
Play
he
in our
if
faces.
the orange Agent Orange brought it back, I don't want it.
If and right now they're saying too that it is so pro-Trump that you can look for news that like negative news concerning him in other countries and find it, but on in America you cannot. I haven't tried it
And
because
it's
I
only
can't get
back
back in.
for 70 days, y'all. So
Oh,
just
really?
in case y'all didn't know, it's not
Let's fix
finalized
it.
that it's back
Mhm.
permanently. It's a temporary in renewal, and some features have been disconnected for the simple fact that supposedly our information is not protected enough, so they've dismantled some features. That's what I'm hearing. I actually got that from our friends at
But
Please
they
Delete.
literally said that there was no reason for them to shut down for those couple of hours as it was. They just did. That was a stunt.
Of course. Of course, it was a stunt. But if our information is compromised, we definitely should not be on there. And our kids, be super careful with your kids on there. That's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have it on my phone. Other people can get back in, but I had actually deleted it. So when I go to log in, it tells me it's not available in my country.
Not interested.
Not interested. You're not gonna play me. I'm sorry.
I'm good.
I'm too done with that. But anyway, till next time, folks.
Until then, next month, next time you hear from us, it will be Black History Month. So look
And
for
we are
some
celebrating it.
great content
And
that
we
we
will
will
be
be putting
celebrating
out.
it.
We're going to be extra black next month. So,
Extra black next month. Extra, extra.
so stay tuned.
All right. Have a good one. Peace out.
Bye.